Good morning, everyone. It's Mich here, and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 5 of the Junk Journal July 2024, and I'm back with my take on today. If you haven't been following, this is a challenge. The prompts were set by Meg Journals, and I'll put her link in the description box below. So she had set a prompt for every day of the month of July. What I've done is I've also added a keyword and found an affirmation so that each day as I journal along, I think about my affirmation, and I just thought I would make it a little bit more meaningful for myself. So today's prompt is lettering, and my affirmation is around hope. So if you haven't followed along, I have done the few other days, and there are some video tutorials. And I thank you all so much for leaving your comments. It really does encourage me to just keep doing my videos. And I kind of apologize I didn't realize yesterday's video was so long until I was starting to upload it after work yesterday. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is like quite a long video. So I'm trying to keep things a little bit less today, but it ends up being what it is. So what I thought I would do for today's spread, I'm working in the accordion fold journal that Meg actually did a tutorial for as well. My take on it was I just got some watercolor paper. I made a little hinge in the back, and I've just made a cover for it. I'll decorate that or find a closure as we get more into the month. So I'm working on this page today, and I thought I would just start by, sorry, I just want to stick this in the back here. I did have it taped down, right. I thought I would just start with doing a little bit of distressing around the edge of the page, just kind of to match the look on yesterday's page. So today I'm just going to use Tim Holtz oxides, distress oxides. This is Rustic Wilderness. And I'm just going to put a piece of scrap paper down there. And I thought I would just kind of push back that background a little bit. And I'm not really being fussy. It is a junk journal. My page, my top of the page is a part of Pride and Prejudice. And it's the Bennets were engaged to dine with the Lucases. I love, love, love Jane Austen and Jane Eyre, the Brontes. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I just wanted to push back the brightness of that background there. I am gonna try to get these down a little bit more, and I'm just using some Elmer's glue. So with the lettering, I've taken it kind of literal and kind of not. So what I thought I would do to start with the background is I went to my stamps, and I have quite a few stamps by Vicky P. I can never say her last name, Vicky Papaioano. I'm not sure, I just call her Vicky P. So I have some of her older stamps, and then I have her newest collection, which is Secret Diary. She doesn't have her own website. I buy my stuff, I'm in Halifax, Canada, and I buy my stuff from Scrapbook Central, which is in Montreal. I like them because they're a small business, and it is a $20 delivery fee, but if I was to travel outside of Halifax to go somewhere, for the enjoyment I get out of my stamps, I'd pay that in gas. So I don't begrudge the $20. And I know some of my friends, you guys that live out west, have some resources in Alberta and whatnot. So there are some Canadian options for buying your sort of stamps and stuff. So, but what I thought I would do is I want to take some of these scripted stamps, so I'm kind of using that as lettering, and some of these letters, so I'm just going to pull off a few things here, and then this one here has scripted scripting on it. And then I have some scripting and letter stamps on this one too. And I like this one. So I just pulled out some more of my oxides. And I do have my Stampin' Blocks, but for this, for most of these, I'm not really bothered to get a good impression. I just basically want it to go into the background. So I'm going to start with some black soot, and I always have some Stampin' Off papers here. So I'm just going to ink that up, and then I just want to, right, that looks good. So, and then I'm just going to randomly go around the page and just do some stamping. And I am going to try to kind of do little clusters, but as it's going to be in the background, I'm not really bothered, as I'm really not going to see it much. So I got that one down, and then I've got some Rusty Hinged, because I just thought I would do some different colors. I am going to put this one on a Stampin' Block because it's just too small. And let's see what that's going to look like. Oh, I think that might be too bright. Let's try. If I stamp off a couple times, you can hardly see it. I don't even know if it can pick up on camera, but it kind of adds to the background dimension of the page. So I'm fine with that. I just didn't want it to overpower. Okay, and then I just have some baby wipes here that I just wiped that off. That oxides are good to come off. I have some frayed burlap, so let's try some of the bigger letters and see what happens. Because it just adds texture. If you don't have stamps, you could just lightly doodle in the background or use stencils. If you have a stencil, a lettered stencil. If you have some alpha stickers, you could probably use that too, but you might want to gesso over them because they would take over the background. Okay, and then that's frayed burlap. I have a mowed lawn, but it might be too green. But let's see. That might be way too green. But the thing about it is there's already some green in the background with the scrapbook paper that I used as the background. I'm thinking I like that. My focal image is going to be bright, so I just really wanted the focal image to be set off from the page. And then I want to put a pink. So I've got two of the pinks here. I've got the sponge sugar, which is lovely, and I'll use this text one because there's more letters and lettering on this one. Oh yeah, this one here I don't even have to stamp off because it's so light. Oops, my head get in the way. I don't even think it'll stand out at all. I can hardly even see it. So I'm going to go to my Kitsch Flamenco. And then what I did for the actual, oh yeah, I like that, the actual foreground. You know, pink and green are such a great color combination. All right, so let's get the stamping stuff out of the way. All right. It's 5. I got up at 5 this morning again. I'm on a mission here with this junk journal challenge. Okay, so that's that part. Then what I did is I just took some white paper and I cut it into squares of 4 1/4, 4 1/2. And I found the center of this by just making a faint little pencil line to find the center. So I've got my center there. Then what I did is I took my compass and I put my compass in the center of the circle and then measured out so that I had approximately a 1/2 inch there, and I just drew a circle. So then what I did is I penciled in, I just did some doodling around to make a wreath. All right, so I'm going to do it just a little dark, but the way I start to do my wreath is that I make a little, and I'm going to do this darker, I make little flowers randomly around the circle. So I just keep going around, and I usually get, well, for this size, I think I had 5. 1, 2, yeah, right. So then I just start somewhere, and on that line, that faint line here that the compass drew, I then just make a little swish down, and I make a heart. And then I just do, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could do. And then I do like a little berry. Then I do one more shaped like a triangle. So I just make my little swoosh and then just go down like a triangle. So really, if you can't draw, you can still do this. And then maybe I'll put another berry in. But then I do another leaf, a little maple leaf, and I just come up with my swoosh. I make a half circle. Then I just do 2 little indentations and then another triangle and then a little swoosh like that. So it's so easy. And then I just keep going around. So I'll do another little maple leaf. So a little half circle, little lines, a little triangle. And then I just keep going. Another little circle, another little heart, another triangle. And then I fit some more berries in. And then I just keep going all the way around until I get what looks like my wreath is filled in. And I sometimes do it in pencil, I sometimes don't. If I want a really nice copy, I do it in pencil just so that I can see what it looks like. So then for today, I took my 0.3 of my micro pen. I don't even know if it's there, but it's a 0.3 that I'm using. Or is a 0.2. I think it's a 0.2. But you could use a 0.3 or 0.1. And then I just go over it in pen. Then once I make sure it's good and dry, so I leave it so that I'm not going to smudge it, I just take my eraser and I erase off all that pencil. Okay. So then the next step is I go and get my marker. So for me today, I use my alcohol markers, but you could use regular markers. You can use color pencils. Anything really that you have. So then I colored it in. So then we got this for today. And it doesn't matter if you can't draw. Excuse me. By the time you color it in, it's going to look fabulous. So I chose 3 different greens. So for little hearts, it was a deeper green, and then more like a minty green, and then more like an apple green. And then for the little flowers, I used a little peachy color. It's called pale papaya, and then just to make it pop a little bit, I used a very bright pink as the little berries, and it's just enough of that accent to make that pop. So that's going to be my center. Before I did that all, though, I took my ruler and I laid my paper down on, I laid it on this, and I took my ruler and I made a line through the center where I had put my compass point. And then I made, just check to make sure that it's straight. And then I just made 3 lines so that I could letter on my affirmation for today. So the affirmation for today is, I embrace today with hope, courage, and love. So again, I just take a deep breath. Exhale the negativity and the stress, and I'm just thinking mentally, I'm going to embrace today with hope, courage, and love. Because today's word for me is hope. So I'm just going to letter that on, and often I will write it out so that I know what my spacing's like. If I want something good, if I'm just doodling, I don't bother, but I embrace. Just so that I don't have, so that it's more evenly spaced, I guess, more so than anything. I embrace today with hope, courage, and love. Okay. And I'm just taking the same pen that I used yesterday. I think it's a Fudenasuk. I don't know how to say it. I'm not sure you can pick it up right there. Fudenousuke. I find this is great for hand lettering. And then I'm just gonna, I embrace today with hope. You always need hope. With hope, courage, and love. And if it's wonky and it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. Because nobody's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry before I erase that pencil mark. But I am going to put this here. I did do a backup one, so just in case. But I then took just a piece of scrap paper and I made a little journal card. So I actually made two just in case I wasn't really sure. And then I have a stamp that says hope, but you can handwrite that on there, hope. And then I just did the same thing. I just doodled around the edge so that it kind of matched there. Because what I'm thinking is I'm just going to put this down as a little pocket, and then I'm going to have my little journal card in the back. And then I can write myself a message today about hope, about maybe a little prayer, something that might be significant for me. And I just thought that that would be a cute little way to represent lettering. So we did all kinds of lettering sort of in the background. I have letters here from my book page. And then we've done our hand lettering. So yeah, so let's try and get this erased. Hopefully I've left it long enough. Actually, what I can do is I can put my pocket down. The other thing I wanted to do with this, and I'm not sure if I'm going to wreck it or not, but I am going to distress the edge a little bit because it'll just give it more definition on the page. I don't care to go crazy with it, but get that done. And like I said at the beginning of the video, thank you guys so much for all your great comments. I sometimes, especially now with, I'm up at 5 to get some of this stuff done, and then off to work, and then back home and doing more of this and trying to get other things done. I had to run over to Walmart to get a blind for my office, and I was meaning to get that up, to put the blind up last night, but a friend of mine came over with some sushi, and I just took kind of the evening off to socialize. Oh, I really love how that looks. Okay, so for this, so I want my pocket to kind of start from here, and I want it just to go around the edge, but I want it to go basically from here to here, I guess. So I'm just going to put my glue, and I'm just using Elmer's glue for this, but you use whatever you have. But I'm just going to put this around the edge there. And just going to get that down. So I hope today that you do have hope, and that you do have courage and find love. Sometimes the hardest love that we have is self-love. And I know sometimes I could be better at that for sure. Okay, you could also, I got this idea, well not idea, but I also had done a bunch of little journal cards, and I thought about just decorating it up. And this one here, I just took strips of scrap paper and did a little basket weave at the bottom, and then I just found a little, I think that was a sticker or something. But, I just kind of wanted to leave that plain so that I'd have a place to write if I wanted to do a little prayer on the front, and then maybe write something personal then I could have it there. But when I'm flipping through my journal, that's going to stand out to me, hope. And I think that's a good message. So I'm just going to erase this off. I think this is dry now. And I hope you've got a little bit inspired today. I know this was quick and easy. Give a go at the doodles, so I'm sure you'll surprise yourself. And until tomorrow, I hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.